Ladies and gentlemen, in this video, I'm going to be interviewing a 26-year-old agency owner who's doing $250,000 per month in his agency and is training and mentoring producers that are doing $100,000 a month and more. In this video, we're going to be speaking with Ashton Delango Lunde. Ashton, welcome to the channel.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So for people who maybe haven't heard of you or don't know who you are, just kind of give like a little bit of a background of yourself, how you got into the industry, and what you're doing currently.
Yeah. So like you said, Ashton Delango Lunde. I've been doing this now for almost half a decade. Very simply, saw a job ad on ZipRecruiter one day, and I was a server in a barbecue restaurant. Loved what I did. Had no problem with it. Just wanted something to where I can make at least $3,000 a month, and saw a job ad that said, "Hey, you can make 5,000 a month part time." I was like, well, that's more than I want full time. So I applied and said, "Hey, if it's half as good as they said, I'll take it." And the rest has kind of been history. And that was back in 2020 now.
Okay. So you got in the industry. You got in the industry right during the pandemic. Then were you doing face to face or did you start off virtual?
Yeah, I started virtual for a week or two. I didn't do well. Booked a bunch of appointments, 34 appointments, didn't make a single sale. And so my upline, my mentor said, "Hey, what if we went in person and saw people? I know it's the middle of COVID. Hey, it's okay if you're scared of like going out there in person, face to face with someone, but if not, like what if we went in person?" I'm already not making money when I'm going to make more, not money. Like I got nothing to lose. So went out in person and started making sales. And then in my first 4 weeks with zero prior experience, was able to go out there and go do 34,000 in sales in my first 4 weeks.
Wow. So you started off. It sounds like you maybe had some issues or whatever, like just kind of like adjusting to the business, adjusting to the phones, and then you went out in the field. In the first month, you sold 34K. Wow. So what do you think? Because there's a lot of people, right? They jump into the business very beginning, they get started, they maybe run into those woes on the phone, and they turn around and quit. So like, what was it for you that kind of kept you into it to keep pushing and ultimately start seeing like some initial success?
Yeah, one of the biggest things I realized of where I struggled with from virtual to in person was just very simply when I did it virtually, it was very transactional. It was simply, "Hey, great to meet you. You want insurance? Here are the numbers." And I
Mm,
skipped a lot of the natural, normal things that we do. When you go in person, you knock on the person's door. Now, I always set the appointment. I wasn't randomly door knocking, but I set the appointment, knocked on their door for the appointment. And the first thing you do, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you. Oh, this is a great neighborhood. Wow, how long have you guys lived here? Oh, are those the kids on the wall, the grandkids? This is a beautiful home. How long have you guys lived here? Have you always lived in XYZ state? Did you
yeah.
move from somewhere?" You do all the normal rapport building things.
Hmm.
And that was the number one piece I was missing. I missed the normal interaction as a human. It
Got it.
was very transactional. I put a quarter in, get a Coke. You
Yeah.
know, and that's where the sale is always lost. Sales are made on emotion, not on logic,
Right.
every single time. And so building that rapport was probably the big key that really did it for me, especially in the beginning.
Okay. And then did you like the lessons you kind of learned face to face? You then brought those back over the phone. Is that kind of what happened?
Yeah, eventually I realized that was the piece I was missing. So when I tried to switch back to virtual, which was a year later, uh, I was like, all right, let's figure out what that is. And I realized, and ran my own study on myself, that if I spent less than 5 minutes building some form of rapport, that I closed 20% or fewer of those appointments. And that was done over about 50 to 60 appointments. So it wasn't a small batch. And then when I spent at minimum 5 minutes or more building some form of rapport, and it's not always just tell me about the kids, tell me about the grandkids, but it's building the rapport as the financial professional, as the insurance professional. If I spent at least 5 minutes, I closed over 80% of my appointments.
Wow. Really? Just from building more of a relationship. You said something there. You built the rapport as the financial professional. For an agent that's watching this, like, at least for me, like the general consensus of when someone says rapport, you think of like the Fort method or whatever, like family, occupation, recreation, transition, right? You said building the rapport as a financial professional. What does that mean?
Yeah. So one piece is confidence. Anything you do, you have to do it confidently, even if it's wrong, even if you're not sure. It has to be done confidently. And this is what I mean. If I ask you any question and I don't sound like I know what I'm talking about, that immediately lowers my status in that prospect's mind. And it happened anytime, especially if I try to talk about someone's finances. You mentioned I'm young. Well, I was even younger half a decade ago. Uh, you have a 20 something year old coming to your kitchen table going, "Hey, if it's okay, could you tell me how much money you make?" Why do you need to know? They always say no one wanted to tell me about their finances, their income, their expenses. Like, listen, I asked about the insurance thing. I didn't ask you to run through my finances. Just tell me what it cost. And I got a lot of that because I didn't say or do things confidently. And so that was one of the biggest pieces when you're building rapport is anything I do, it's confidently. I make those statements. If I'm going to walk through, hey, here's what insurance does, or here's this kind of insurance, that kind of insurance, I have to sound confident. And even if I didn't know something, I was still confident in it. Ask me a question. Hey, what about this? Hey, that's a great question. Let me make sure I have this exact right. I'm going to give my senior field underwriter a quick call. I just want to verify something real quick. That way I can make sure that it's, the absolute best for you. And I did that confidently, even if I had to go bring in someone else. What if I went, oh, man, I'm not really sure. It maybe, hold on, let me call someone and let me figure it out.
Yeah, at that point, you're dead in the water.
And so that's one of the keys, especially when I say as a financial professional, is just doing what anything you do with confidence. And that's going to project a lot of trust in you. Another part of the rapport is when I'm in that connecting phase, my goal is I want to get that attention off of me and get that attention on to them. And that's one of the other biggest pieces of it, especially in the beginning of putting that focus more on them than it is me. Whether I'm booking the appointment and they go, "Why are you calling?" Well, I want to get that immediately more focused on them.
Mm. What do you mean
Hey,
by that? Because I
yeah,
think some people are like, when you say putting more of the focus on them
yeah.
versus you, are you saying basically like instead of them worrying about your qualifications, they're now thinking about their situation? Is that kind of what you mean by that, or?
Getting the focus of what they're trying to look at,
Mm,
switching that around. And
yeah,
for instance, we dial a lot of leads. At least in our agency, we focus a lot on, hey, we're going to grab leads, we're going to dial them and book an appointment, whether we go
sure.
see them physically, virtually, or over the telephone.
Yep.
And so a lot of those people, especially when you're dealing with newer agents, we're going to have aged leads. We're
Mhm.
going to have leads that someone else has called already, but
Right.
a sale wasn't made. We're going to have leads that have been through the process a few times, so on and so forth. So a lot of the resistance you're going to get, especially on that first phone call, is someone's already talked to me before. I've already went through this. No, thank you. I've gone through the process. Well, I need to get that focus off of me, off of here's why I don't want to move forward, and get the focus on them. So, like that intro that I love to use, and it's very psychological the way that we phrased it. But we go, hey, is this John? Yeah, it's John. Hey, John, this is just Ashton. Again, I'm lowering. Hey, this is just familial. So that way it's not here's some random salesperson calling me. Hey, this is just Ashton. I'm sure you get a ton of these phone calls, Tim. And for some reason, the system never got updated. Yeah, but it looks like you asked for some information about the mortgage protection. I think it was a couple months ago. What what ended up happening with that? Again, I shifted the focus. Everything in there is scripted and intentional. The speed up, the slow down, the stutter. It's not because I have a random speech impediment. The stutter is a pattern interrupt. I want to
Right.
change where their focus is going. Hey, you asked for the mortgage protection. I think it was a couple months ago. What what ended up happening with that? I don't want them to go, oh yeah, it was a couple months ago. Why are you still calling? What what ended up happening with that? I want to direct them to what did you do? Did you get coverage? Did you not get coverage? Did someone tell you it was too expensive? I'm shifting that focus off of who am I, what am I, Stop calling me to, oh yeah, here was the thing I wanted them to
Mhm.
help my family, and here was what was happened with that. And I get that shift in that connecting phase, and now I'm moving through so much more fluidly, and I'm building that rapport at the same time because I'm positioning myself as an expert walking through them. What happened to that? It's too expensive. Oh, really? What did they say? Now we're walking through that, and it's much easier and eliminates and releases all of that sales pressure.
That's fire. I can tell you've trained a lot of agents. I want to kind of shift gears a little bit and talk about the building side, right? So you and I were talking a little bit before we started the interview. You said about 11 months ago you had kind of burned down the agency and started from scratch, correct?
Yeah.
So you were a personal producer, 30K a month. Flash forward to today, we're doing 250K a month across. I don't know how many agents you have, but it sounds like you're got a pretty sizable operation. What did it look like going from selling personally to now duplicating yourself and finding more people and recruiting and training a team?
Yeah, number one thing that we just really come to realize, especially over the years, it comes down to what level of activity is each person willing to put in, and that's it. And I have those expectations for each of those agents based off of what that level of activity is. I had an interview earlier today for some agents or for prospective agents,
Yep.
and person's like, "Yeah, I want to make 5 to 10,000 a month, but I don't want to put in more than 20 hours a week, and I've never done this before." So, well, I'm gonna be honest, that's not going to happen tomorrow. Could you get to that place? Absolutely, but you need to know it's going to take probably 3 or 4 months before you're at that level of income if that's the max you're willing to do.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, well, I want something tomorrow. I'm making 5 grand, so this isn't for me. Great, but we set realistic expectations,
Yeah.
and it's very very simple. It's, are you either willing to change what you're willing to do to get what you want, or are you willing to change what you want for what you're willing to do?
So you're telling me you're not running those ads that are saying you can make $20,000 a month working like 5 minutes a week?
No, yeah,
That's not
we're
you.
definitely not running those. No, no, not us. Hey, I wish if you find something like that, you let me know too, because I'll hop right on
Crypto
with it.
yield farming, right? That's the next big thing.
Yeah, so it's helping go. Hey, here's the level of activity we're going to need in order to get those results.
Yeah.
I personally trained and mentored the number one producer in the history of the company, and in his first 6 weeks, he never did this before. He did some other sales, did some like commercial roofing, and went to businesses. Hey, you want a new roof? And that was it. No other sales experience, zero insurance experience. And he came in and said, "Hey, I want to be making 100,000 as fast as humanly possible." I was like, "All right, I think you think you want that, but I don't know if you do, because here's what it's going to take." He's like, "I don't care the hours, I don't care what it takes, how many days a week. Like I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it as fast as possible." And over the next 6 weeks, put in 650 hours of work. If you have a calculator and put that in over 6 weeks, it comes out and says a heck of a lot of hours a week. That's what it says. And that's what he did. And he did nothing but work like crazy to get there in 6 weeks. Now doing, ever since that time frame, now doing 100,000 plus a month.
That's wild.
And that's what it comes down to when people come on and go, "Hey, what amount of work are we willing to put in?" And we go, "Here's the level of result you could get realistically.
Mhm.
Are you okay with that? And if you're not, which are you willing to sacrifice? What you're willing to do, or what you're willing to get? Which one?" And can we get to that level to where we go, "Yeah, it's okay," and we agree to go, "Here's the amount I'm willing to do, and here's the amount I'm willing to get." Otherwise, it just won't work. And that was the simple formula. And we stopped trying to make people into something they weren't,
Mm.
into these crazy producers, into these super hard workers that, hey, some people, all they need is an extra 1 to 2 thousand a month. That's it. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And we realize that, hey, for those people, that's where we're going to leave them, not in a, hey, we're not going to talk to them, help them, etc. But
Right.
we're also not going to go, "Hey, why aren't you working more?"
All right, so real quick, I need to interrupt the video because if you're a life insurance agent, chances are you're doing one of three things. You're either buying aged leads, you're buying leads from your IMO, or you're buying leads from a lead vendor. And chances are you are way overpaying for those leads. And not to mention, the leads never even pick up the phone. Well, if that sounds familiar, then give me the next 15 seconds and I'm going to show you something that's going to completely change everything. We just launched Insurance Agent Freedom School, which is an entire training platform and program that will show you how to fire your lead vendor and cut your lead costs to 1/10 of the prices that you're paying right now. This is a program that I used to sell for over $2,000, but right now you can get access for just $99 a month and try for free for 7 days. Inside, you'll learn everything that you need to know to fire your lead vendor and cut your lead costs so you can start generating way more profits in your business. Not only that, but whenever you join, I'm also going to give you access to a dialing software that has allowed us to see answer rates as high as 20%. So if you make 100 dials, that means 20 people are answering. So I'm going to include a link down below this video to get access to a free trial. All you need to do is click the link down below and start your free trial to fire your lead vendor, generate more profits, boost your answer rates, and start making more money in your insurance business. Now, back to the video.
Why don't
Yeah,
you do
you're not trying to drag them into something that they don't want, right? So
exactly?
sounds like for you, like you guys are just like you're willing to take people where they're at and help them max out the potential up until what they want to hit. And then, beyond that, like if someone wants to be a $10,000 a month producer and write 10,000 and, net whatever they net, that's cool. If someone wants to do
Yeah,
$100,000 a month, you have the infrastructure in place to help them do that.
absolutely.
Um, so for a new agent getting started, I guess like what would your biggest tips be? To first of
Yeah,
all, like start producing successfully. And then if they wanted to get into agency building, like where would you kind of
yeah,
I guess like a better way of phrasing this is if you were to start over, like what would be your path to success as an agent?
yeah, absolutely. And we'll take it on those two paths, just like you said, as a producer and as a builder. As a producer, the number one key is going to simply be how much activity am I willing to put in as quickly as possible.
Mhm.
That has to first be the answer you have. How much activity in what time frame am I willing to do a week? Am I willing to put in 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week? Great. Find out what that level of hours is realistically. Now, again, everyone loves it. I'd work as much as possible, but then it's not realistic. You get burnt out after 3, 4, 5 days.
Yep.
Just like I thought the number one producer would, but he didn't. Most people aren't built like that to just work 18 hours a day, 6 days a week for the first 6 weeks. Most people aren't. However, what is that realistic expectation for you? And then break down that schedule. And the way that we did it for, hey, I want to start doing 100,000 after 6 weeks was we did 12 hours of implementation a day. I'm dialing leads, booking appointments, running appointments. Like I'm doing some form of production activity that will generate some form of income. Dialing to book an appointment, running an appointment, calling if a sale fell off the books, like doing some form of production activity in those 12 hours a day. Then we practiced 5+ hours a day. And that's how he got so good so quick.
Mm.
Every day he was practicing. He also used to be a professional athlete. Work ethic was there. And he treated this like he treated basketball when he played pro. And he said, hey, what did I do when I didn't have something right? I got the camera out. I filmed it. I watched it back. Oh, my footwork's off. My hands off. My elbows off. My arms off. I need to move here, move there. I need to look at the footwork, whatever it is. And he's like, we have to break down why is it that I missed my mark? And it's the same thing here. If you treat it the same, you'll get crazy results. Record yourself. All right, I'm not doing well in the first paragraph of my phone script when I'm calling and booking appointments. Play it back. All right, do you sound like Eeyore? Hey, this is John. Calling about your mortgage. Do you want insurance? No, okay, thanks. Like, no one wants to be around Eeyore.
I've gotten phone calls like that before from insurance agents because
Exactly.
I bought a house in the past. So I got like a bunch of people calling me for
Yeah,
mortgage protection, man. I've literally had people call me. They sounded exactly like that.
exactly. And you have to sound like someone they want to be around.
What do you think the best way is to practice? You mentioned like game tape. Do you guys do like a
Yeah.
lot of listening to the calls?
Yeah. So self diagnosis is key. So
Mhm.
one, you can really fix your own problems most of the time. You don't have to have someone else.
Mhm.
Now, in the beginning, you might not know. Week 1, week 2, maybe you need your upline, your mentor, your coach to help you. Hey, I listen. I'm not really sure what's off. Now we have a lot of examples, and hey, recorded examples. Or when you play yours back, does it sound like this one? Again, you can do a lot of self diagnosis. But when you record yourself, especially live talking to a client, when you record yourself and play it back, you can go, oh, yeah, man, I started 84 times when they gave me this objection and I fumbled and I didn't sound like a professional. I didn't
Right.
sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Oh, well, someone already called me. Yeah. Well, if it's all right, will you still talk to me? I was like, well, yeah, that's why you lost it. The way you sound, even if you said the rebuttal perfectly,
Yeah.
the way you sounded was off. Right, now we go
It's
fix
more about how you say it than just what
it.
you
Yeah.
say, for sure.
And so that self-diagnosis is key. And then role play. That's the other thing. If you can grab someone to role play, whether it's your upline, whether it's another cross-line agent, someone else in your agency, that, you're not direct to them, they're not direct to you. Great. Hey, grab them in role play. Hey, how do I sound? Critique me. One of the best things a sales mentor ever taught me was grab someone not in sales. It's easy to have a lens when I'm talking to a coworker, when I'm talking to someone else, but grab someone not in sales. Run
Mm.
through your script,
Mhm.
and even just certain parts. You don't have to do the whole thing, but certain parts, and ask them the question: how does this make you feel? One of the best questions you can ask, especially someone not in sales, because that's your target market. When I call someone and they're like, I'm not interested. Okay, well, hey, if you don't mind, if I could give you some information about the product and maybe I could change your mind. Maybe if it was cheaper and save you money, would you want to take a look at it? It's like, how does that make you feel? It's like, I'm already feeling like, oh, well, I feel like you're kind of backing me in a corner, pressuring me, trying to get me to do what you want. I told you no, but you don't want to listen. It's like, all right, well, is that what you're wanting them to feel? If the answer is yes, good job. You're crushing it. Keep doing it that way. If what they said is, yeah, that's the feeling I want to evoke. But if they go, yeah, this is how you made me feel, well, man, like that's not what I want to convey. All right. Well, we need to change it. Either you're saying it wrong or you're saying the wrong thing.
Right.
Oh, well, already have coverage. Oh, yeah, I kind of figured. I'm not sure why they didn't get this updated. Let me go ahead and get this updated in the system for you, so that way we can get you taken out and not get all these calls and texts anymore. Which company did they get you set up with? How does that make you feel? Oh, it sounds like you really listened to me. You were caring, and you just want to help me get this updated. There you go, and then we keep moving through that.
Takes all of the pressure off for sure.
Exactly, and so that was one of the number one things that I learned. Hey, grab someone not in sales. How does this make you feel when I say this? And that can really give a great diagnosis. A partner, a spouse, a sibling, a parent, someone like they're gonna want to help you practice. Um, but if not, just record yourself or grab your upline if they're available. If they're not, grab someone else in the agency. But that practice was key if you want to get better in a very short amount of time.
100%. 100%. So that's on the producing side. It sounds like, basically just like listening to your
Yeah.
calls and drilling your script, are like the biggest things, which I
Yes.
mean, I have to agree with that. How do you transition from like
Yeah.
producer to builder? What does that look like?
Yeah. And there's two ways as a builder. One, I'll go the simple way, and then the two, I'll go the hard way. So the simple way in the beginning is if you have all the systems in place that, hey, when someone gets onboarded, they follow this system and it's going to give them the training they need, whether it's videos, and most of the time it's some videos. Hey, welcome video, intro video, onboarding carriers, this, that. Here's how to make a phone call, book an appointment, run an appointment. There's videos they can go through. Well, it's done for you, and that's the easy thing. And if you're in a great system, a lot of times when you bring people on in the beginning, your upline is going to help train or coach or mentor
Right.
them for you. There's a lot of great places that do that. Hey, when you bring someone on, especially in the beginning, you don't know anything. You hardly know how to spell the word insurance, much less teach someone else how to do it. Well, I'm going to do that for you. I'm going to help you in the beginning, train them all in a group, individually, whatever. I'm going to help coach, train, and mentor all of those people for you. And your job is just to bring them in the door. So the goal is how many people can you just bring in the door as fast as humanly possible? And it was simple. The way that I've always trained, the fun little script that I always gave people was, when you give someone a call, your warm market, someone you know that you pick up the phone and go, "Oh, Tim, man, how's it going? Oh, good to hear from you, man. Hey, man, glad I caught you on the phone for a second. I know you're probably busy, but man, I just found this new career. And it was kind of exactly what I was looking for. I don't even know if you'd be interested or not, but if I sent you some information about it, I mean, would you just take a look and at least just let me know what you think? I'd love to get your feedback. What your thoughts, like, what you think. It means a lot to me. I just want to
Mhm.
see what you kind of think about what I'm doing. Yeah, would love to, man. Okay, great. Send them something short. We send. It's like a total of like 6 minutes of videos. It's like 2 separate videos that are 3 minutes. Everyone's attention span is long enough to watch 2 videos that are 3 minutes.
Hopefully.
Exactly. Yeah, hopefully. All right. Hey, what do you think you have time to watch it? Oh, you said it was like 6 minutes. I could probably watch it tonight before I go to bed. Okay, cool. So if I give you a call tomorrow, that'd be enough time, and you can tell me what you think. Yeah, great. They don't like it. Great. Oh, thanks for the feedback. I appreciate it, man. Click. Love it. Oh yeah, this is awesome, man. I'd love to do something like this. How do I get involved? Well, again, a lot of times if your upline's helping you, they'll do an interview for you. All right, great. Let me get the guy who owns the agency. He'll interview you and go from there. I like I said, I just started. I don't know anything, but that guy owns the agency and he'll answer all your questions. Okay, great. And now you're able to start building an agency, building an army early. Again, that number one producer I mentioned, that's what he did in the beginning. In his first 2 months, he had 10 agents. And he was like, "Hey, listen, I just started. I don't know anything yet, but this is an awesome opportunity. I don't know if you or anyone else, would want to maybe do it. Here's some information."
Yeah.
And it's that simple. And that's the simple way. If you have a great system, you have a great company that has those systems in place, it makes it easy.
I think the other thing too that makes it a lot easier to recruit is when you're already seeing success with the system. Because like trying to bring somebody into something that you haven't proven, I've noticed a lot of people they
Yeah.
just kind of like lack conviction in it, and it's harder to convince other people to do something if you're not doing it successfully. So like I always think
Yeah.
that like if you're going to get started into it, like you said, for example, I think you said the guy that was doing 100K already has 10 agents. It's so much easier for him to bring people on when he's talking about his success and instead of talking about hypothetical success. So I think that's a huge thing is just like
Yeah.
producing yourself first.
Yeah. And that's the biggest piece there. And the only thing I'll say in somewhat contradiction to it is I love that when you are building, it's not always based off of what I do. And here's what I mean. Like when I'm new and I'm trying to hire people, I'm like, well, tell me how you've done. What's your success? Like, how's it gone for you? Well, the thing I always tell people is like, even if I were amazing at this, does that mean you're going to be amazing? You may suck at this. You might not be as good as me. Like that is 100% the case. And just because I'm amazing doesn't mean you're guaranteed to come in and be amazing too. You could not do as well. And as much as that is true, the reverse is true. Just because I'm horrible at this doesn't mean you're going to be horrible. I might not be able to sell water to someone dying in the Sahara Desert of dehydration. And I got 10 bottles and I couldn't do it. However, you might be able to come in and blow the roof off the place because there is good training. There is other people successful and there is a whole system. Because when the system is the magic, I don't have to be. When the system is the key, it allows me to produce an agency far more than just me of what I'm able to do, what I'm able to coach, what I'm able to be in success. Maybe I'm only a $10,000 a month producer. Well, that if people could only ever be as good as me, well, I'll never have someone produce more than 10,000 because there's nothing to teach them how to do better than that.
True. So you're saying a lot of it is you feel like as a builder is leaning on whatever system you have.
If you want time,
Yeah.
it has to be leaning on a system. I can't train every single person hands on for 10 hours a day.
Right.
I can't. But if I have a system that can train and answer and help those questions of, hey, I have an issue with this objection. Hey, here's a great training. Look at this. Tell me your takeaways, and let's tweak it from there.
Right.
Well, now when I have 5 agents who have a problem with someone that said, I want to think about it in the appointment, I don't have to have a 30 to 45-minute call with 5 people.
Correct.
And now I just spent 2.5 hours of my day doing that, when I could go send them a recording of me or a recording of a training. Here's what to do. And they can get the exact same training from that. And if they have more specific questions, great, I'll answer that after. But now I have a base, I have a foundation I can teach them from. And now that's a 10-minute call, not a 30, 45-minute call. Now I just bought myself 20 minutes a person, 5 people. Now I just bought myself 100 minutes.
Right. When you have 200 agents or 300 agents, it starts to really stack up. You can't be having those conversations with 200 agents.
Exactly. Because otherwise I become self-employed and I'm not a business owner.
Right. 100%.
Now people can't work unless I'm available.
Yep.
Hey, I had a problem with XYZ. I got to wait for Ashton to be available so he can answer my question and I can do my job.
Right.
And that's where things start to crumble.
Mm-hmm.
So like on the flip side of that of, hey, I don't have the systems in place. I don't have those things, which is the way harder way to build. Yeah, you have to wait until you're successful. It's going to be 2, 3, 4 months where you're consistently producing. Now you can start hiring people like, hey, do what I do. Watch what I do. Here's how to dial. And it's a lot of hands-on. Here's what I'm doing. Much, much harder way. And I would implore and tell you to go, hey, record yourself doing some of those key things and create your own onboarding platform.
Yeah, I love that.
Here's how to dial. Here's how to run an appointment. Here's how to overcome objections. Because otherwise you'll do nothing but work from 5 a.m. till 10, 11 o'clock at night every day.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you have to create systems. You have to, I say like the biggest keys to building an agency is like you have to have a consistent quality lead source you can plug agents into. You have to have an automated system that people can come into, and it'll basically take them from brand new agent into a producer. Obviously there's human intervention along the way. You got to train them, you got to help them out, coach them up, but there should be a curriculum that people can go through, right? Otherwise, you're teaching it from
Absolutely.
scratch every time. And then I think the last piece is having a unique opportunity that people want to be a part of, right? Something that sets you apart from everybody else. So one of the last questions that I have for you is like, in terms of going and finding these agents, are you usually like recruiting people in industry, or are you going to people that are out of industry? Or how do you find people that you bring to your team?
Great question. Yeah, we pull from a lot of different avenues.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's important, especially when you try to do it at scale. One avenue that's always amazing that never fails is warm market. You hear everyone talk about it. Warm market, warm market, warm market.
Sure.
Business always moves at the speed of trust. Your warm market are going to trust you more than some random person on a job board.
Right.
So it's really easy to be able to go pull someone from your warm market and help get them going a lot quicker. So that's one thing I love. And when we say warm market, we don't strictly mean someone directly related to you, your cousin, your brother, your sister. It's anyone that if you picked up the phone and made a phone call, they'd know who you are.
Right.
Oh, hey, it's you. Oh man, how are you doing? It's been a while. That's your warm market.
Yep.
That's such a great avenue. Everyone has at least 3 to 5 people bare minimum that would at least be interested. I'm not saying they're going to get hired. I'm not saying they're going to do it, but they'd at least be interested after you showed them some videos. Like, yeah, this seems interested. I want to talk more.
Yep.
I've never seen someone have less than that. I truly haven't.
It'd be depressing.
Cool. Yeah, it would be very surprising. Cold market avenues.
Yep.
There's a lot. I love Facebook. It's going into Facebook groups. There's so many people that you can find on all types of different job boards that go, I don't like my job. I want a new one. Great. Make a comment, send them a message. There's so many people out there looking for a better position, a better company, a better job. And I'm not going in there trying to make people interested. It's like, these are people like, hey, I'm actively looking for something else. Who can help?
Mm-hmm.
So many of those on Facebook. And then the other one is really just job boards, actual job boards, ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn, Career, Monster, Hiree. Like there's all these different platforms that you can go get either job resumes or post job ads and get resumes.
Yeah. How did you find 100K a month guy? Was that off of a job board?
Ironically, it was a warm market. We reconnected in a sales training group.
Okay.
So there was a group call for some third party company that did sales training,
Yep.
and I saw him in there. We went to the same college. We didn't even overlap in years, um, but we went to the same college. We both played basketball, so kind of knew each other through that avenue. When he was there in college, the high school I went to was connected to that college, and we connected in that group. I was like, "Hey man, like, how's it going?" And we reconnected through that to then go, "Hey, he's in a sales job, wanting to make a lot more, can't really make more. Tell me about what you're doing." And it's like, "Oh, that sounds too good to be true." And then I kept seeing the results. A month later, I was like, "Yeah, you keep having the same results, man. I got to do what you're doing." Which brings me to a good point too. Going back to Facebook, posting on Facebook is such a great way
Mm-hmm.
to draw people.
Mm-hmm.
I would post on Facebook, "Hey man, had a great day in sales. Man, great day when you can go make 10 grand in a day. Dude, this is awesome." And posted the sales. Post your lifestyle. One thing that's great about, especially if you're in the insurance industry, most of the time there's a crap ton of trips you get to take. You're going all over the place, whether it's in the States, out of the States, all inclusive resorts, carrier trips, whatever the case is. Post those things, or you get to spend the day doing whatever you want. Like there's a cross line in our agency. Hey, I'm at the taco bar today, hanging out with my husband, getting a margarita at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And you're like, well, what do you do? Do you get to go get margaritas at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? Like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
If that's what you do.
Yeah.
But, or like, hey, I have 85 kids and I never miss a sports game, and I have a great job and make a great income. It's like, well, what are you doing that you get to never miss anything in your family's life and make a livable income?
Yeah.
I want that. I got to miss everything in my family's
There's a lot of demand for what we do. That's for sure.
Exactly. So posting about your life is another great way to draw people in organically. You don't even have to
Yeah.
post a job ad. You'll get people every single day reaching out to you. Like my number one producer, he's posting, "Hey, here's the sales I made. I was so blessed that this is my life now." I gave him a goal. Hey, if you do 100,000 in 3 months, within your first 3 months of starting, 100,000 in a month, I'll buy you an iced out Rolex. And I give that same goal to every single person I hire. If I hire you, you come work here and you go do 100,000 in a month, in 1 month, by your third month. I think I even put it out to 4 months now. I give them an extra month. If you do it by your third month, I'll get you an iced out Rolex. I don't care.
Did you give it to him? Have you given it to him yet?
Oh yeah. He did it in the second month. Yeah, I gave him an iced out Rolex. He designed it. It was a Rolex black dial. He wanted Roman numerals. We iced out the Roman numerals, iced out the bezel, Jubilee bracelet, and that's what he wanted. We did custom Rolex for him, and that was the one he picked out and designed. That's the he posted those things. He's like, all right, now he had 30 people that reached out to him, like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing that they give you a Rolex? So I'm in sales. I don't get a Rolex. Like, and
Yeah.
just those postings. Now, like, he gets a $10,000 bonus from our company every month. Give him a 10 grand bonus. It's like, what are you doing that you get a $10,000 bonus for doing your job? And that's drawing people in. But, like you said, that last piece we do is the job boards. We're posting there,
Yeah.
and then we get so many. We get probably 300 to 400 applicants a month. Across my agency, we're getting over 1,000 applicants a month. And we just
Wow.
throw them in a group interview. We use texting automations. We have a whole system we built out that texts them as they come in the door, and it gets them all the way to auto book an interview. And we're getting them auto booked into a group interview, and we get probably 10 people that show up per interview, and we're running pretty much 3 to 5 days a week, and we have 3, 4, 5 guys running 3 to 5 days a week, and you're interviewing that many people, it makes it easy to hire because we use the job boards and we use the text to get them auto booked in. And now you have a large funnel of people as well. So that's where I like to draw from those 3 places.
It's huge, man. Killer advice. Killer advice. Overall, like, the advice for the producers and the advice on the builders. I think so many people struggle to find agents, but like it's the same thing with leads. You have to have an overabundance so that your standards don't drop.
Yeah,
I think that's huge.
exactly.
Awesome. Well, Ashton, where can the people find you? Where can they reach out to you if they want to learn more about working with you?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's really easy to find me. My name's pretty unique. I'm literally the only person in the world with this name. You type it in Google, you'll
A
find.
big world, man. You be careful making claims like
Yeah.
that.
Hey, my mother made my last name up, so it makes it easy. You type, you'll find my high school reel, all that. But Facebook, Instagram, all those places, easy to find me. Facebook's probably the one I use the most. Really easy to find me on there. We have a podcast just like you, how to sell insurance. You can reach out to us there, get more great tips and advice as well. But yeah, those are the best places, really Facebook and the podcast.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you jumping on, man. For you guys watching at home, we'll see you in the next one. Take care.